reaction to, you know what we should have done? We should have dressed as Robinson Crusoe. We should have had a sort of rubbish umbrella and a GoPro on our forehead.
Welcome to our channel. If you're new to our channel, we do lots of TV reviews, movie reviews, cookery show, gardening show, family reality show. So make sure you hit the subscribe button because it's free. And then whenever there's nothing on the telly, which is quite often, let's face it, you can come over to our house. So, Philip has gone away on a castaway island.
Following in the much hallowed footsteps of Joanna Lumley and such like.
So that he can interview himself, so that he can ask questions of himself that he can't be questioned on, that he can probe his own self.
Careful.
But probe his own self, but not too far. He doesn't have to probe. And he can,
Can I just say
just fix it to how he needs to.
I just want to, you're being very contentious already, and I think it's unnecessary. The first thing I think that we need to say is, my God, he's boring. I'm sorry. And I don't think that's something Philip would have wanted from this, but fuck me. What a boring man. And what a boring show, unfortunately. I mean, not a lot was told. The most interesting bits were the most awful bits.
Are really funny.
It was just okay. So my problem with it from the beginning was, what did you think of his talking head interview? This was him just sat at home doing his little chat.
First of all, I thought it was really bitchy, the whole thing. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? I thought that was really bitchy because he did lie to everybody at ITV, and then he left everybody else to clear up the mess. And then he obviously, I felt, it was, we're not stupid, it was definitely a jab at Holly,
it's a jab because
Holly, who was left to introduce the bloody show and do all of that. Okay, the Are You Okay was a bit, but I just thought.
Yeah, but for those who don't understand, the reason it's a jab is that she texted him or messaged him and said, I hope you're okay.
No, it's not. It's because when she opened the show, when she did the first show back on this morning, she said, "Hi there, are you okay?" to the audience.
Oh, I thought she'd messaged him.
So much was made out of it, and there were memes, and there was piss takes, and it was really, everybody went for Holly big time. She will have been advised to say that. Do you know what I mean? They'll have been thought, and so I just thought that was unpleasant because I think,
I tell you why I thought it was unpleasant. I think the reason, I tell you why, I've got no judgment at all about his family, because we've talked a lot about how all of the victims and all of the people who were impacted by what he did were his family, and were, of course, the person that he had the relationship with, and other people that he'd worked with, and all that kind of stuff. But I felt a bit sorry for the family, because I felt like they were kind of, I'm not saying for a minute, they clearly wanted to do it. I think his daughter's his agent and was behind getting this made. But
you love your dad, whatever, don't you?
Yeah, but also you're going to do whatever you can to sort of rehabilitate him.
Yeah,
so I
get that.
I felt a little bit sorry for them.
I understand all of that, and I understand that they still love him and they're still having lots of fun, and it's all fun. And that I've got no problem with, but I thought it was bitchy of him to do that. Are you okay? Because he was having a snipe at Holly. If you're going to have a snipe at Holly, just say what you think.
Okay.
Why do something like that?
I have a fundamental problem with the format, with the nature and the structure and the approach of the documentary, because the only thing that's going to guarantee that you're going to get anything revealing and that you're going to get anything that's kind of, objective and honest and authentic is if someone else is filming and there is no ability of the person that the film is about to simply not be filming at the moments that are most sort of, he is in total control. He might not be literally editing, though I'd love to know how involved in the edit he was, but he was editing, and one does edit when you shoot anything, because you say to yourself, I won't film that. Or I will film this. So, and also the interview, I thought I was a little bit thrown by the fact I wasn't expecting the first 5 minutes to be an absolute sort of career rehabilitation and profile of all his greatest hits. And I didn't realise how much Gordon the Gopher was part of that.
But he obviously must be just about to do a huge deal with Channel 5. That's going to be his channel now. That's what I felt with that. That's what I felt with that initial interview.
I kept feeling that so many lines in this, there were so many double entendres.
I heard one line, and no one let people down, and then just from then on, it was just all about how he'd been let down by everyone.
Well, he is very bitter.
He's
There's a lot of
very
bitterness.
angry.
Yeah. And I thought there were lots of little kind of nuggets that suggested sort of all sorts of things about character. My Island. I mean, and then of course there were phrases like "I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts." There were a lot of quite unfortunate kind of references I thought in there. His comment about he would never quit. He doesn't quit. Are you going to quit? I would never quit. I was fired. What did we think of that?
What did everybody think? Let's get some opinions from some other people. What did you think?
What did you think of the I never quit? Can I also just say, whilst the answer's coming, because it takes a little bit of a lag, I thought the amount of time they spent on him in that sit-down interview, huge mistake. And I can't work out whether the producers or the program makers are slightly hanging him out to dry. Because when they hold a shot on him looking into camera in that sort of knowledgeable way, it feels so eggy. It feels so eggy.
It really does.
Did anyone buy it? Did anyone sort of... I felt this was absolutely ghastly, if I'm honest.
Let's read something. So, Marie Hatzman, self-flagellation of the highest order. Jackie Bellino. Oh, sorry, darling, we lost you there.
Imagine if he had taken his life, maybe we would be thinking differently. Well, of course, no one can talk to or speak to that. That is a given. That, of course, he was... he had his absolute darkest hour. But once again, he's kind of come out and he's put himself on screen and people are talking. No one wishes any ill will to that extent. And the suicide chat that was in there, it's important to hear. It's important to know where he got to, where he found himself at. No one's challenging that. No one's questioning that. But the rest of the show, it's a show, and you're throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's a show, and he knows the business well enough to know that if he's going out and doing a show like this, he'll have been paid a lot of money for this show. And why is that? Because there is a lot of interest, because he was on our TV screens for decades. So he knows that. I mean, do you know what the very worst thing would be for PHILLIP? Is if nobody watched it. What he wants is massive viewing figures. That's what he wants. That's what he needs. So he knows very well that by putting himself, he must, feel well enough now, because he's been in the business long enough to know that by putting himself on screen, he will be open to reviews, chats, newspaper articles, everything.
And that's a really important point to make, actually, and I'm pleased you flag it up, Jackie Bellino. I would have thought, and I'm almost certain, that my former colleagues at Channel 5 will have absolutely done a sort of due diligence and a duty of care assessment to make sure that he was absolutely capable of doing this and in the right mindset and frame of mind. So I think actually it's fair cop to kind of comment on. He's thrown it out there. It's up there for us to discuss and look at. But I think it is respectful to anyone who talks about suicidal tendencies or ideation to never get involved in talking about that. But I think all the other stuff is there
we
for,
would never
for us
comment
to talk
on
about.
any of
Neil
that.
PR says, I wanted to understand and buy it, but I honestly felt annoyed watching it. It felt at stages forced and a bit of a two fingers up, especially the interview to camera whilst off the island. I found the interview off camera in his home risible.
I found it really smug.
Really smug.
And I found it very sort of... you know what I felt? I felt you've been talking to your group. You've been in an echo chamber of everyone saying to you, isn't it dreadful, isn't it awful the way that you've been treated?
Yes.
And I think that he still had that, as if he's just come out of a room with all his closest friends and that's been the conversation. And it's like, this is often the problem with people when they become very famous and they're given a lot of room to make a show in the way they want to. Because actually, to make a show means having a whole team of people, a director, people that can say, do you know what, it might be good if you just, and you know what, maybe you could think about just discussing how this felt. And I felt very much that he had complete control of it. And because of that, he hadn't maybe got some advice that would have been really good for him, which is like, sit here and actually talk about what you think your actions might have done, how that might have been impacted. That would have been that could have possibly turned people around a bit if he'd taken full responsibility. But he said one line, and then everything else seems to be him just very cross in the way he's been treated.
Elliot Gonzalez, hi Elliot. Surprised to see support from Joanna Lumley. I thought that at first, but then Elliot, to be fair, not that I'm necessarily a huge advocate for defending anyone here, it's no one to defend, but I think Joanna Lumley more there almost because she'd done Castaway as well.
So there was that she was great on it.
Yeah, so she's got that kind of sort of skin in the game. Russ Ouch, I'm still unsure what he did wrong. He lied about an affair. Lots of people have affairs. It's the nature and the way in which that affair and relationship started and at what age.
It's about what age. It's about abuse of power and fame. That if you enter, it would be utterly unthinkable. Say I wasn't married, right? It'd be utterly unthinkable to me as a 60-year-old TV presenter that I would have an affair with an 18-year-old boy that I'd met years before. It'd be unthinkable to me.
It'd be deeply disturbing.
Because I would know that the reason that person is engaging in that with me is because they're, overcome with the fame and with the the attention, and it wouldn't be fair because at the age of 16, the age of 18, you're in very, very different places in your life. And I think it's up to the responsibility of the person in power to be the one that says this isn't a good idea. And I am always on the side of the person that I think has had the rough deal, and I am on the side of that person.
Yeah. I think something else that I think is really important to talk about, and this is like parking to the side what we think about what is done and what we think necessarily even of the programme. I think what was Philip Schofield's or is Philip Schofield's shtick? What is the thing that we like? And I have to confess, he's made me laugh in the past on many things. I've seen him in things, and the adverts especially for that car. We buy any car. And all, yeah, exactly. His thing is a breezy brouhaha family man. Let's see the funny inherent sort of humor and absolutely everything, a kind of soft lad-ishness kind of going on in there too. And I just think it's really dangerous to have that tone accompanied with absolutely zero acknowledgement. And I don't feel that even if he might have said the words once, I feel like I've let people down or something like that. But I don't think it's enough, and I do think it needed to be maybe threaded through a little bit more for his sake.
The thing is, he said the line, "You've put me into this place where I'm on my own, so let me be on my own." Well, why aren't you just staying on your own then? Why are you coming out again, telling this woe is me story when the other person that's involved in this does not have the power to tell the story on an island given to him by a news channel? That person is trying to get on with their life, and this will stir it all up again. We've already seen it, photos again all over Twitter and all of that, and I just really take umbrage with that. I think that if you feel ashamed, if you feel like your actions really impacted on somebody, well, let's see that action. And the action to me is not going on an island moaning about how rough it's all been for you.
I have a few kind of grumbles about the so-called storm on the first night.
Oh, this was funny.
I wasn't really buying it. I wasn't really buying into the storm. It was a bit flappy.
Mark, his collar was going like this. Mark, who makes documentary, said you wouldn't have been able to hear
him. His audio was so clean. It was such clean audio. I'd really like to just have a look at the timeline briefly, just to know that storm was added in. But, he did have a flappy desk. Oh, I need to get my charger. Hang on. I just want to ask a quick question about...
But that is showbiz.
Yeah, that is showbiz.
You've got to make drama when there is...
I'm just going to
I don't have a problem. That's not Philip. That's just TV. But it was funny because we both sat there and went, he's not in that storm. But yeah, so let's read some more of your comments out. Ellie Denning, no, it is not. Ellie says, is it really bad to say that I kind of miss him on this morning? He was familiar, felt safe, comfort. I don't know, I'm probably the only one. Absolutely not. And it's not bad for you to say that. And you won't be the only one. There'll be many, many people that feel like that. And I think that's what I feel sad about as well, because I think so many people invested in him and had that safe feeling with him and that avuncular feeling. I'm not going to speak to anything else that I know and that I, from the building, but sorry about that. I got lost there. I genuinely don't know these people, but what I do know is that just seeing everything that you will have seen, it just astonishes me that at the end of the day, Holly was blamed by the public and by the newspapers and by female columnists. She was held up as more of a villain than him.
I just want to say something because I have my own first-hand experience of Philip when I did Mr. and Mrs. He was cold and arsey. I've never met a colder person.
No, but the point is, there's many people like that.
No. And
the thing is, when people are talking about that they've missed him, I understand that because a very familiar face, and he was a very good presenter.
Oh, he's excellent.
And I actually, do you know what I think? I think if he was going to come back into telly, I don't begrudge him getting a job at all. I don't think, he should never work again. Because I think what he should have done was just got a telly job on Channel 5. As a presenter, doing something, a great show, a quiz show, and not done this whole thing of, I'm gonna make you love me, oh yes I am.
Can I just say
that? He should have just come back.
Yeah, and also, I have to say, that kind of greatest hits moment at the front, I got cringe about Gordon. I feel sorry for Gordon the Gopher. I really do.
It's not his fault,
No, it's not his fault at all. I got cringe about the whole Joseph and the fucking Technicolor Dreamcoat. Oh, fuck me. Shoot me now, please. Horrible. Some really interesting facts that we did find out, though. His dad was a fly fisher. His dad had a garage with all sorts of stuff in it. I thought that was nice. He never caught fish with his dad. I thought, there's some kind of nice moments there. He got quite emotional, didn't he? I mean, and again, that's a rehabilitative kind of moment, isn't it? In any portrait of anyone.
But is it TV?
But is it?
I mean, does anybody want to watch it?
I felt for
it was boring, Mark.
Nads, I felt for the crab. The drama around the crab. I think we really missed a crew for that, didn't we? Because all we saw was his left foot. I don't give a shit about his dad, says Trina Cotton.
No, it's not. It's just that
Jordan, but why does he deserve a place on TV? He's done wrong, and just to be slapped on the wrist is a slap in anybody's
I personally, I don't. But I don't begrudge him if he got a job on Channel 5 doing a quiz
not
show.
At all. A fishing show.
A quiz show, whatever. I wouldn't say anything about it. But why it's and I wouldn't watch it either. But this is him saying, please can everyone watch me and please can you all change your mind about me? So therefore we're going to watch it and we're going to have an opinion on it.
Now, there was a very funny moment in part 4. I'm going to use the phrase, I'm going to slightly throw my eldest under the bus because she said he's fake talking to himself. And you know what it reminded me of? Now, my mum doesn't fake talk to herself, do you, Mum? If you watch this in the garden, she's warbling away. He reminded me of my mum when she's in the garden, just chattering, but it was such an affectation.
And then one of our kids after that went, he just seems to be talking utter shite. Because he's just talked about 4 different things at the same time and it didn't make any sense. And it's interesting because they don't really know anything about him.
No.
They've not grown up watching him on This Morning. So it was interesting for us, them just watching him as an audience member and just going, what is
because
this?
The social media campaign and all the press coverage has been great for this, so lots of youngsters have been excited about it. The terrible fact of the matter for Philip, if he was to have done a quick look around our room, this is what he would have been met with.
I started to do my food shopping.
Started to do a food shop and then asked if everyone wanted pancakes. I mean, what the hell? What about the moment where he talked about coming out? He said, what was it he said? He said, more anguish, it gave him more anguish than joy, but coming out was freedom on a plate. What I did notice on X at that point was an awful lot of people saying you didn't come out, you were pulled out. Now, I don't want to get into the pros and cons and the debate around how, but I felt it spoke to, which a lot of people have been critical of, his opportunistic, perhaps, use of the coming out aspect of the story. I don't know. It felt like he needed to kind of
one of the things that I didn't like that he said in the papers was that if ITV had been a girl that he'd done this stuff with, he would have got pats on the back. And, I just don't believe...
Shit.
Like, if there's one place that's the least homophobic place you could be, it is in showbiz. Right?
I was going to say.
It really is.
Yeah.
To the point where we just like, we take it for granted.
Yeah.
And we forget how difficult it is actually for so many gay people out of London, out of the real world. But it wasn't about that. It was about the abuse of power. It was about snogging a very young person on the premises in the dressing room. You know, all those things are not allowed, and it's as simple as that. So
Well, but I would say that quote
to
was,
make out that it was homophobic is really,
Yeah.
really a poor
Wrong.
show, because it's not.
But also, he said that other phrase around that. He made that other comment, didn't he, where he said, if it was a man, I'd have been like, it would have been like, all right, mate, well done, pat on the back. And I think I talked about this on Coffee Moaning the other day. I said, that speaks a lot to the kind of masculinity, gay or not gay, he's into. Because, no, actually, not everyone would pat you on the back and say, get on in there, mate,
I would go,
as a woman.
If you did that with my daughter,
I'd fucking
that's
kill
what
you.
I'd think.
Sorry,
You know,
I'd kill you.
Yeah.
I would.
No, I mean, you literally.
No, I mean, I wouldn't
but,
literally.
You know, that's the feeling.
Metaphorically.
Metaphorically. That's the
Symbolically.
feeling that you would have.
Yeah, symbolically.
The feeling you would have. But,
Yeah.
you know, so I didn't like that, because, again, I thought that was, again, you're kicking all your old colleagues. And it's not fair to do that, because I think he was really well looked after on TV. He was treated incredibly well. He had an amazing 40 years. He made a huge mistake. He admitted that he lied to everyone, and now it seems like he wants to turn around and go, well, I was very unfair.
Well, he hasn't really said sorry. I mean, if I'm honest, I haven't heard sorry in this at all. Natasha Tiramos, I saw this on X as well. All he needs is a volleyball called Wilson. He's missed a trick that would get him more sympathy. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to be more funny. The beginning of part 4, I really struggled to get on board with the phrase "never wanted to be famous." I really struggled with that one. I don't know why, but I just did. And his story about being hugged by an enormous ginger-haired man, I found that a bit of a tough one to kind of to swallow as well. You know, so
this is so true.
He's not really
Lots
said he's
of
done
people
anything
saying
wrong.
about taking the piss out of Holly was really, really, that
Underhand.
for me, I think, was the most revealing thing there. That was not decent. That was not gentlemanly. That was not, and I'm sure he would like to think of himself as a gentleman. I think she took a lot of shit and a lot of heat.
You see, I agree. Mitru's just said, I think the reason he doesn't feel he needs to apologise is because he hasn't literally broken... No one has suggested he's broken the law, but what I would recommend... If you are not blinded by the ego of fame and the life that you've got used to and the power that you've got and what have you, any normal person would say, OK, well, look, it really wasn't illegal, but my God, I can so see how this has just completely gone wrong and I've broken it. And it's not even about what's said, it's about the tone with which it's said and the way in which it's said and what the intention behind it is. And I just felt all these sort of supercilious little kind of mugging shots looking into camera during the interview just didn't serve him it didn't serve him at all well. I just thought it made him look mannered.
I'm just tired of hearing the legal thing. I really am.
Yeah.
It's like, where is the moral code?
Exactly.
Is that okay?
It's not
and if you
legal.
can't imagine it, just because it's not a person that you love or a person you're related to, just as a human being, it's wrong.
I just want to. You know what? I've got to get it off my chest. There's Tommy
wrong.
Cooper. If my daughter was, met someone and she was in her early
Met
teens,
her at drama school.
met in
she
drama
was
school, and then
12,
eventually was
11,
given a leg up
12.
and a job, and then further down the way was found in a dressing room snogging the guy who'd met her at the age of 12. Hell would have
How would you
no
feel?
fury.
You know, and how would he feel if that was his daughters?
Precisely.
He's got 2 daughters that he adores. How would he feel? That's what he needs to think. If he sat there and he went, do you know what? I was thinking about it. And actually, if that had been my daughters, I would have felt that would have been to me. Oh, okay. You really understand what you did. You understand why people are upset with you. You understand why people are cross with you. And that, because I believe everyone should be given another chance. I believe everyone can mend their ways and apologise and right. But apologising means taking accountability for what you've done. And if he could put his daughters in that position, his daughters goes and works at some big agency or something, and she's, they've known her all the time she was growing up, and then they do. How would you feel for it? That if he'd said something like that, I would have gone, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think he's understanding it.
And I also just have to say, I hate to say it, I think he is a consequence. Just my final thought on this is he is the end result of someone who's been what's it called? Marinated in showbiz for so long. This isn't actually a criticism of him. I think it's a fact. I don't think he can talk genuinely anymore. I think he's incapable of even smoking a vape. I think everything is so considered. And that happens with people who've been in showbiz all their lives.
I think people that have had a lot of sort of fame and sort of pampering, do get so used to everyone buying everything that they say that they just say everything like everybody's going to buy it. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't get anyone challenging them anymore. So.
But you know what? Fuck me, it's boring.
God, it was boring.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, end of the day, it was boring.
Thank God for the crab. I mean, Jesus, thank God the crab put in an appearance. Poor thing, though. It didn't last long, did it? Anyway.
My WhatsApp groups are going nuts.
Oh, we better get into your WhatsApp group. Anyway. Tell us what you think. Keep telling us what you think underneath. And let us know if you watch any of the other
hit
episodes.
the subscribe button. Bye.